I need to gain some access back here in order to figure out where I'm going to cut, but the bed is on and I'm by myself and it's hard to take a bed off by yourself. So right now I'm going to try to figure out how to remove it. And on top of that, I have a C-notch, so it's not like I could just unbolt it and push it back. I have to pick it up and over the C-notch, so that doesn't help. It's finally out. I just did a somewhat of a rough cut with removing this piece. And the next piece that I use, I'm going to cut it out of my parts hard body, and I'm going to cut it way bigger than what it's supposed to be. So instead of cutting it right here, I'm going to cut it almost up to this body line right there. Same with the back side. I'm going to make it wrap all the way around to right about over here. The bottom, I'm going to cut the whole rocker panel off all the way to like the middle of the door, even though I'm not going to use all that. But once I get that big piece here, I could put it on, see what I need to trim, make sure it fits all nice and tight, and then start to weld it into its place. Because yeah, this truck is really rusty, and it's not even that it's rusty like because it's in like a rust state. It's more like they got in an accident and they didn't fix it right, so the rust started getting to it. Like right here, no one did anything about that, and this piece right here got crushed in a little, so the paint chipped and it started getting rust. So luckily that's not too bad, but in places like down here, it got a rust hole right here, which is pretty rare for California cars to be like this. But like I said, if you don't prep it right and you just do that, the rust is going to start to spread under the panel and then in here. So that's why I cut it right now, just to see if there's any rust on the back side. So as you can see on the back, there's no rust at all. Obviously I got to clean it all up. Alright, so I forgot to get my camera, but I'm going to record this with my phone. So this is the cab corner that I'm going to be taking off. This is my parts truck. There's a dent here, but I don't think that should matter too much since I'm going to be doing pretty much all new body work on it and all new, or just doing a bunch of work to it. I don't think a little dent will get in my way when I'm already cutting that much out of it. But yeah, with this one, I'm going to cut way more than I did on my original piece. My original piece was down here and just barely to the corner. So on this one, I'm going to cut all the way to the back, all the way in the bottom, all the way to over there, and pretty much just cut everything out. That way when I get to my house, if it's too much, I could just trim it down. I ended up cutting a lot more than I needed to. I think I already mentioned this. That was the piece off of my truck, and now you can see I cut all this, and then I even went to the rocker panel. So now this is what it looks like. Probably not going to use all of that rocker panel, just up to the seam weld, but I'm going to see. I also took part of the inside of the door jamb, and not all of it because there is some thick pieces inside where the latch goes. And it was kind of hard to cut through that, especially since I don't have all my tools and stuff. I just had to kind of just get the angle grinder and cut around and see what comes off. So this is what I'm going to be taking. I got the quarter piece right here pretty much rough cut, but I don't know how far out or how far in to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in my new door. It's not a new door, but it's just new to me. It's a clean door, and this one, as you can see, has some damage. So this door might not be as flush as it should be. So that's why I'm going to throw on the other door that I'm going to be running right now. And the reason for that is once I put the good door, then I'll know that I need to match it up to the door, and it'll just be a lot better. And the reason I'm doing that is because this door looks straight on the edge, but it could be a little tweaked. So if I line it up to this door, I take this door off, put the other one on, it's gonna have a different gap and it's just not gonna look symmetrical at all. So in order to remove the door, I need to remove my fender. So removing the door isn't really hard. The hardest part is probably lifting it up. So there's just this little dowel pin. I believe you smack it from the bottom up. Yeah, from the bottom up, and then there is four, I believe they're like 14mm bolts right here. And obviously you gotta either unplug or cut your wires. I'm gonna cut them because I don't have any electronics in my doors, and I'm probably not gonna be using these speakers or speakers in my doors. So I'm just gonna cut that, And yeah, there is some silicone right here that you're probably gonna have to break off. It's not that it's really hard on there, it's really soft, so it shouldn't be that hard to break off. But I'd highly recommend you guys use 2 people at least for this job. So I actually got a new hood too, because this one has a bunch of Bondo on the roof. It looked like something fell and hit it, and it got dent, and someone tried to fix it with Bondo, and then the Bondo cracked, and then they painted over that. So I got a new hood. It's all nice and clean, also white, so I'm going to be switching that out. So the truck looks like it's missing a lot, which it kind of is, but it's not really that much. Just the hood, fender, door, and the grill. And I know you guys are wondering about the intercooler. This truck is not turboed. It used to be, as most of you guys know, but I took the whole turbo kit off, and I just haven't took the intercooler off because I have to remove the whole front end in order to remove my intercooler. So I'll probably do that right now since I'm doing, you know, everything. But kind of having some issues with this bumper since it's broken on one side and it's welded on the other, and it just, I gotta figure something out. So yeah, don't mind the intercooler. And there she is. She's all apart. Honestly, I feel like I should drive it like this at least one time. Wouldn't be a bad idea. With how popular hard bodies are becoming, I'm surprised no one has done a like shark cart or cart hard body or whatever. So I know when someone sees this video, they're gonna get an idea and do it, but this is a pretty cool, looks way better than the actual hard body itself. Oh, that's crazy. I think I'm just gonna take everything off and just run it like this. All jokes aside, now I can throw my hood back on and my door. Fender's probably gonna be the last thing because I need to get access to those bolts. But once I do all this, then I could start to line that rear piece on there. So today was just a bunch of stuff that I need to do. I need to do the hood for sure, the door for sure, and that piece. The hood, I mean the fender didn't have to come off, but the fender did have to come off in order to remove the door, which I wasn't gonna do last, but it would be dumb to weld that in place, all ready to go, and then try and make it flow with the new door. Got all the white panels on. Now I can't really align it until I get everything on. For example, right now, this gap is like really tight and it's almost sitting on top of the fender. And I can't really, I don't know where to shift it to because the other fender isn't there. And this one, when I threw it on, I just threw them on. I didn't really care about the fitment because I knew that I was gonna have to do body work. So now I'm gonna have to loosen up all the body panels on this truck and try and get my gaps to be even all the way across. So that's why I'm not really dealing with that, but the hood is all bolted on, it's ready to go. It's pretty much just sitting on there now. And the door is on there. I still have to align it, but overall, I got it where it's somewhat decent. Now the slight issue that I'm running to is I believe this door, well I know it is, has a little dent right here. You can see it's opened up and then it dents in like it's a right here. It's a tiny bit, you can't even really see it. It stops like right here. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of body work on that, but I have to do a lot less body work on this door than this door. For example, this door doesn't look very bad. It just looks like there's scratches and stuff, which the camera might not pick it up, but when it got hit, it folded over right here. You can see the reflection. Has a hard line right here, probably from the door bar. So the door bar really helped it, but it made it look a lot worse on the outside because the sheet metal kind of bent over that. So it's bent down right here, it's bent up, and then right here, you probably, yeah, you can see it a little bit. It kind of swoops like that. So in order to get this out, it was just gonna be way more work than to get one tiny dent off that door. Another problem that I'm running into is normally doors, when you, I'll just show you guys on this one, when you close the door, it has like a safety lock and then it has the actual lock. So you can see I'm gonna close it really lightly and it engages, but it's still, you can see it's still loose, it's hot. But when you shut it hard, it's locked. So the problem, I'd show you guys right now, but that my piece is gonna fall out and I don't want it to fall out. This one, it only has one lock, so I think it's just rusty in the little jam and it's not engaging the second lock, which is weird. But when you close it slightly, it engages and it has no wiggle to it. It's just, that's what it is. And you slam it hard, it just has one. That's what I'm thinking it is. I might have to take it apart and see what's up with that. But regardless, it's gonna allow me to line these up right now. You can see it's almost pretty good. And it's not even good over here. I just have one magnet and it's just kind of sitting there. So fitment's already good and it's not even on there how it should be. And then another thing I'm thinking is, since there's a slight gap right here, let's see, it's barely like probably like a 30-second, probably not even a 30-second, less than a 30-second. But what I'm thinking is the truck got hit so hard right here that this whole B pillar probably got crushed in a little bit. Obviously you can't see with the naked eye, but I'm sure if you put this on some lasers and stuff, I'm sure it would show that this is all bent in a little, even though you can't see it. So that's what I'm thinking is going on, because it got hit pretty hard to where you can see all the sheet metal's all crumpled up. Not too hard with the frame damage, but just enough damage to mess up all this sheet metal here. So that's what I'm thinking. So I might just have to accept this gap. I'm obviously gonna do my best to get rid of this gap, but you can't really make it 100% when it's already been kind of deformed. Since this material is super thin, I have to be very careful and make sure it doesn't warp. I'm pretty sure it's gonna warp at least a little bit just because it's super thin. I just measured it and it's about like 40 thou, so it's extremely thin. So the way I'm gonna do it, since I am using a MIG, that's all I got, is I'm going to pretty much tack the whole entire thing and then grind the tacks away. So I'm gonna do a tack here. I still don't know how far I'm gonna space it out, but probably 1 inch, maybe 3 inches. So tack here, go 2 inches, tack there, another 2 inches, tack there, tack, everything. Obviously take my time. And then once those tacks cool down completely, then I'll do another tack next to that one and pretty much just tack the whole entire thing in place. And once it's all welded or tacked, then I can grind it away and make it look like it's one piece. I am running into some issues with this door, I believe. It's either the door or the entire B pillar, probably a mixture of both. So the truck that I took this door off had been rear-ended and the frame was a tiny bit tweaked, so that doesn't really help. But I got the door for free, so I threw it on. And then two, this truck got sideswiped, I believe twice, judging from there was Bondo all over this caked on, and then it had cracked because it got hit again. Pretty much this truck got sideswiped and someone threw Bondo on it, painted it on this side right here. You can tell the paint was a little different, not as good as the OEM paint, and then it got sideswiped again, and then all that Bondo cracked and then it started getting rust. Right here you can see I have a few tacks holding it in right here. I've been doing one and touching it, and if it's cold then I do another tack, and yeah, so far it's coming out pretty good. It hasn't warped too much as far as I can see, but I'm obviously not done yet. So once I'm done, that's when I actually see how much it warped. It's all welded up. Looks like a 5-year-old welded it, but I can't really do too good of a weld since they're literally just a bunch of tacks. That's essentially all it is. Now the next step is going to be grinding away the welds, and I'm pretty positive there's going to be a few holes because I know there's some spots where I didn't get full penetration. So I'm gonna have to go back and do some more welding on that. But yeah, I don't want to get too close on the welds because I know I'm gonna get roasted for those. The truck is now all back together. I'm currently bondoing the side, but I'm gonna be making that a new video since this video is already about 14 minutes long. And the reason I made this video so long is just because I mainly wanted to really show you guys in depth what I was doing. Just because I did it the way I did it doesn't mean it's the correct way. I'm still learning, and I kind of just did it the easiest way that was easiest for me. But I hope with me posting this video, someone will see this and it'll help them either with some rust issues, replacing the cab corner, or they had the same issue and they got sideswiped. All I really used was an angle grinder and a flap disc and a Harbor Freight welder. And yeah, it's coming out pretty good. Obviously it's not as good as a body shop. A body shop would probably do a lot better. But the main reason I tackled this task is to learn and just save money, I guess. I will be posting the next video probably within a week or so. So if you guys are seeing this after a week after it's posted, go down in the link below or the description, and I should have a link to the next video just in case you guys want to see the full thing and how it looks once it's 100% done. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out, guys.